What's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? My dad told his kids that he was leaving an equal amount of money to each of us, but he didn't. I got substantially more. If I told anybody that my dad cheats on my mom, everyone I know would rain down hell on my parents for various reasons. My uncle molested me constantly as a child. I told my mother, who got very angry. She said I was lying and was a terrible person for trying to split my family apart. My mother is a whole other can of worms, so he died when I was 16, and that made things easier for me, but no one knows. He's remembered fondly and often by his wife and kids at functions and dinners, and for 11 years now I just get quiet when he comes up. Telling people would only cause pain, and honestly wouldn't do me any good. No one knows but my boyfriend, and I carry the trauma with me everywhere. I probably should go to therapy, but between having 2 kids, working full-time, and being an adult student, I don't have time. My brother sexually assaulted me when I was 5 years old, he was 14. He's the golden child, so if I were to leak this secret, I would probably be disowned by my whole family. I was abused as a kid by a neighbor. Only my wife and a therapist know. I don't want others to know about it. It wouldn't ruin my life, but it would make it uncomfortable. I got scammed out of $8K. Just wanted to buy my dream car and was so happy. Now I have no car and no money. I have a boatload. 1. I was a stripper in university. 2. I found my birth parents and actually have a decent relationship with the one and now spend more family holidays with them than I do my family that I grew up with from 2 weeks old onward. No one in my adoptive family knows. No one in my biological family is allowed to post on social media or publicly acknowledge my existence. We discovered we have an entire half family in another state in the Midwest. Our grandparents married out of convenience, for my grandmother was pregnant and my grandfather stepped in and pretended it was his child. In that state and day and age, having a bastard child could get you excommunicated from the church and shunned from everyone up there as they were devoutly religious. Also, my grandfather had a twin who randomly disappeared when they were 2. We think he died. But most of our large internal family does not know of our half-family of my grandfather's side. I hate myself pretty deeply. I think about killing myself every day, but I know it's just my brain being shitty. I have a great job, great life, everything is pretty much good, but I just hate who I was in the past, who I am now, and how I interact with the world, and I just can't change that voice in my head that says every day it would be easier to just end things. Can't tell anyone, cause then they'd try to coddle me, or get me help, or just wouldn't think I could handle my life on my own. But living on my own is pretty much the only thing that keeps me sane at this point. Somewhere out there is a collection of CP of me that was shared under my real name. If anyone found out that I changed my name because of this, it could ruin my life and drag up a lot of shit. Edit to add this because people are assuming I'm lying because I said specifically my mother didn't sexually abuse me and didn't once talk about my own sexual abuse until now. They are also ripping apart my story based on the fact I didn't openly state I was bisexual, and because I was open about being in a relationship with a second cousin for 6 months. So this comment was buried and may answer some questions as to why reporting it caused more issues than helped. Basically it is linked to the Richmond scandal, and a lot of reports were buried and ignored. Or victims were put in similar situations, i.e. windowless rooms or continuous barraging with no breaks and no support system in the room. There's noticed much you can do further than report and hope for the best. But it is really hard to even get a report past some officer writing it down then binning it. Wouldn't ruin my life, but if my parents or sisters ever saw my $2,500 plus anime figurine collection, I would never hear the end of it. I'm suicidal. If others found out, I'd be afraid that it would affect my chances at medical school. This is one that's going to have to come out eventually, but I think me being around my mother is a detriment to my mental health, and I'm going to have to cut her out of my life sometime in the future. It'd be a real bummer if she found that out right now though. I call myself Dick Nipples on the internet. You can't trick me, dude. I will keep that secret for myself. Ruin is too strong a word because I would carry on just fine. I don't have any positive regards for my mom anymore. She wore me out with a lifetime of irrational, dumb, lazy, semi-abusive behavior. I actually don't hate her, I simply don't care anymore. I wish I could walk away, and openly admit to my siblings that I'm done. I can't, for reasons that involve a long story. So I keep it to myself. That I'm probably the reason a kid I used to know killed himself. He was messed up to begin with, lived a hard life, but he was getting better. I was young and addicted to heroin. I introduced him to heroin. 3 months later he blew his brains out on his girlfriend's lawn. I am pretty sure if I hadn't introduced him to that shit he'd still be alive right now. The kicker on top of that is my father kinda believes that he's the reason this kid killed himself, but my father doesn't know about my addiction, so I can't really tell him the truth either. The extent to which I despise my one stepchild. Can everyone answer on throwaways, cause I actually wanna know. My addiction. I would lose wife, baby, parents, friends and my home all in the space of half hour if anyone found out. Nice try, ex-wife. Not me, but allegedly this woman's secret that she doesn't actually have a dog phobia would probably ruin her life if it got out. It got out. https://apnews.com/article/washington-archive-dogs-b42fce9-1 FOE 698 closing parenthesis. I'm a closeted atheist. Best case scenario, I'll be shunned by 90% of my family. Probably not actual life ruination, but I really don't want my parents to know that I'm turned on by the thought of being swallowed alive by something like a dragon or a huge snake. I've been selling lots weed since I've gotten out of high school. Honestly, the extra money helped me pay bills and helped to get a license that landed me my first big boy job. I haven't stopped selling, and I'm 25 now. Isn't it interesting how a lot of these answers state that the person has been sexually assaulted, and yet I haven't seen one post admitting they have sexually assaulted someone. Rapists real quiet in the comments. Using my NSFW account for this. Bits and pieces of this have come out over the years and the rumors definitely spread around my HS. Mid-20s now and moved on boot. I'm a male victim of rape. Senior year of HS, spiked drink, nothing I could really do despite being a guy. Not exactly life-ruining but definitely stigmatizing and all. Mom knows a few chunks of the story, as does a few therapists. If that, or the fact I stayed a week in the hospital for depression, suicide at age 14, got out, I'd be devastated. Also have very high-functioning autism, Asperger's. Never officially diagnosed, but I've discussed it with a therapist and a long-time known doctor on my mail route. Makes connecting and relationships sometimes difficult. I've moved on and am living my life now the best I can. Still carry many demons with me. Heart stay strong everyone. I'm hiding from myself the fact that I'm depressed and anxious all the time. I know why my grandmother died. We found her in her bathroom after a few days, dead. Had an autopsy report because it looked sus according to the police. They came back inconclusive. Found lots of diazepam in her system because she always claimed to have anxiety, but she always put on such a show when she was out. She was on some crazy dose. To cut a long story short, she's dead because I told her to do it. She sexually abused me when I was between 4 to 10 years old. Around the time she died, I was in a good job and a good relationship, and her grip on me had been waning significantly since we moved a bit further away. She called less and less, always guilting me whenever she called. In the end, she talked about how close we used to be, and I snapped. I have no remorse for this. Justice has been done. Coroner's report was inconclusive between accidental death and suicide. But I know, I won. Not really ruin my life, but I have Asperger's. However, I'm very high functioning, so it's not really visible for most people. Since I'm high functioning, there is no need for others to know, especially due to the negative stigma around autism. I believe people might second guess my skills if they knew about it, as if I'm suddenly retarded. I'm still at an age where not being in a relationship is okay. I think that in 15 years, people might start wondering why exactly a normal-seeming guy is still celibate. So my life is fucked up and I'm tired. One day I decided to just go kill myself, but since I'm a coward, I decided to just walk in front of a speeding sidecar. I didn't die, so I stood up and walked away, went to school and just math. Got home and found out that news got around real quick. Got a mouthful from Granny and she asked how and why I got hit. I tried killing myself around 5, so I gave her the excuse that I just woke up and was out of it. Now they joke around and call me a stuntman. They also talk about how my dad is depressed and all, then tell me I don't know what's it like. Like bruh, have you ever failed so much that even killing yourself is an epic fail? So up until now, no one knows how I really feel. My Mindy's fucked up and I don't talk about it for good reasons. Put a smile on, be on my merry way. God bless y'all.